update on the ColdSteel polaxe. Because when last I mentioned it, I had bought the spear to mount on top. I think I mentioned it in the spear review video. It did not fit. So I shaved that pointy a bit off there. Because I wasn't able to find one that would fit. Anyway, thing's kind of a monster. It hits really hard. Cuts really well. It is a very good axe blade, by the way. Like, very good. It's like a fireman's axe almost. It cleaves and cuts pretty well. Very clean cuts too. It's not just like ripping through stuff. It actually cuts. It's very clean. And the hammer's a hammer. There's not really anything to say about that. I have not shortened it or anything, aside from this extra bit. Part of the reason that I took that off, because, you know, aesthetically I did like the way it looked, but it kind of interfered with the hammer strike. So if you wanted to really bring the hammer down, depending, like if you want to go all the way down with the hammer, what happened was the top part would just get in the way, and it would block the hammer from actually connecting with something that was like on the ground level. So, you know, it kind of had to go. Without having a blade either, or like an actual spike, it prevented this from actually making contact if you thrusted. And this will actually poke through things, you know. This will actually go in and stab. It's pretty good for that if you want to. Not as well as a dedicated spearhead, but a blunt piece of wood is not a dedicated spearhead. But I would say with enough force, you could get that through somebody. You could impale someone with that. So yeah, it's a fun tool. The only problem, like I said, the haft was not thick enough for the barrel. So when you put it on, it just slides down. Even when you screw it in, it was still kind of rattling. So what I did was I had some metal bits. I just hammered down in there on each side, and that seemed to have done the trick to keep everything in place. But it's not as well fitted as I would like. But so far, with the metal bits in there, it hasn't come loose or anything, so that's good. Again, ColdSteel, great steel product generally. The wood bit that goes with it sometimes is unreliable. And you can see that box over there I've test cut. You can kind of see it in the video. It's hacked to bits. The reason, obviously this has lots of impact. It's an impact weapon. So what you do with something that's lightweight like that, it's kind of like the pool noodle thing, right? If the blade is sharp and a good cutter, it'll cut through the box rather than just move it around. And this absolutely cuts through it. So that's why that's like that. But yeah. And then the sword, obviously the great sword, just cut it in half pretty well. So, you know. But that's to be expected from a big sword. Yeah, ColdSteel great axe. Or, I'm sorry, polaxe. But really, it's a great axe. You know, you got the axe, you got the hammer. An axe is an axe is an axe. Probably my favorite piece now, aside from the fact it don't fit. But I really like these weapons, or tools, axes. I like them a lot. Yeah, because like you get utility out of it. If I had to knock down a tree, you could do it with this. Not as well as a tree felling axe, but you could still do it. If you're out and about and you need to like take off some branches or something, you could do it with this. If you need to demo something made out of wood, like let's say you needed to knock down a door, you could absolutely do it with this. So there's a lot of utility here that a dedicated weapon like a spear doesn't have. Which is why I tend not to like those things. Swords I like because of the skill component to being good with them. You can train with a sword, even though it's a dedicated weapon. You know, like in a survival scenario, you're not going to have a ton of uses for a sword besides self-defense. But something like this, you could get a load of use out of this without ever swinging it at anyone or anything. You know? Take down a tree, make some firewood, knock down a door, hammer nails. A little difficult for that because it's so big, but it's doable. So these types of weapons are just my favorite because of the utility of them, as well as the fact that you can incorporate it to training. And they just look intimidating. This thing's 6 feet tall. Look at it. Look at it. It's as tall as I am. I'm not even wearing any shoes. I might be a bit taller than it. So yeah, it's a lot of fun to swing around. Like I said, it's not very heavy. It's advertised as being 7 pounds, 7.5 pounds. It's maybe 5 pounds. That's really good. Swings really well. Good control. You can kind of hold it out like this pretty far. Not one-handed. The leverage is pretty hard to do that with. I'm not that strong. I can kind of keep it at hip length, you know, here, like this. But to hold it up here, nah. So it does have heft to it, but, you know, it's not too bad. So yeah, ColdSteel polaxe, second review. I was not able to modify it the way I wanted. And then instead of buying another spearhead and wasting more money, I just decided to lop it off so I don't do any more impulse buys. Today was supposed to be my snatch marathon, but I'm kind of sick. Stomach flu or something. And the cough is back, so I'm just not even going to bother. We're going to do it tomorrow. I don't think I'm going to be able to get through a straight hour of snatching the way I feel right now. So I really don't want to fuck that attempt up. So I'm going to wait till I'm 100%. I'll probably just do, if I train at all today, it's just going to be like a clean and press ladder. Something that I can start and stop if need be, if you know what I mean. But I really don't want to blow the snatch attempt. So we're not doing that today. But I figured I would put something up because the crazy workout videos and the weapon reviews are what gets me the views. So that's what I put up. And like, this is my biggest hobby since I don't play Magic the Gathering anymore. Because exercise is not a hobby. It's a daily habit. It's part of my life. So that's not a hobby. Training is the most important thing. Because without your health, without your physical health, what do you really have? Nothing. So the stronger and more fit you are, I believe fully that has carryover into every other aspect of life. So I don't consider that a hobby. But anyway, yeah. ColdSteel polaxe. It's a lot of fun. I don't know that I would pay the $165 to $180 they ask for. I feel like a much better price for this is the $120 it used to be. And if you can get it for that, I would suggest doing so. But you will have to do something with the haft, more than likely, one way or the other. Because from what other reviews that I've seen, sometimes it's too tight and you can barely get the socket on the haft. And in my case, I would prefer it to be too tight. I would prefer it to be too round and then have to like really hammer it on and kind of like fuck up the wood or maybe even sand it down a little bit. I would prefer that. I like it. The way I like to do these axes, friction fit and then nail it in, or in this case, screw it in. I just pounded these in because I didn't have nails that would fit. And like rivets were a historical thing. Screws weren't. They didn't have those back then. So I know it was dumb and I could have just went to the hardware store and bought the proper nails. But I was like, fuck it. And I just hammered them in. It's been fine. So yeah, you'll have to do some modification, most likely with the haft. Either sand it down or do what I did and hammer some metal bits in there to fill it out so it doesn't come loose. But if you can get it for 120 bucks, I would suggest doing it. So this is the follow-up review for the ColdSteel polaxe. Also, you could probably go to a hardware store and get like a wheelbarrow handle And that would probably make a better haft, but you'd have to sand that down as well. Or like a big shovel handle. That's another nice thing about it being round, is you can fit a lot of stuff in there, as opposed to some of the axes that are rectangular but not like a normal wood splitting axe. 5 out of 5 for looks. 5 out of 5 for destruction. And then it gets a 2.5 out of 5 for the fit, because it kind of sucks. And you will have to do work. But anyway, that's that. I'm going to go try to not be sick. And then hopefully come back tomorrow and crush a straight hour of kettlebell snatch and set some kind of record. I'm hoping to get at least 1,300. I think it's doable. I really believe 1,300 is doable. So, peace.